What would we do without that?
I feel like half of these start with me doing something dumb.
That's always what it is, because I roll the camera.
Yeah.
And it's just you, like, sitting in the chair, like...
It's me doing some, like, bit. Like, or sometimes it's not a bit, and it's me plugging tinfoil into the wall. Well, welcome, everyone. Cheers?
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh, welcome to
Did you not watch the movie? It's all, like, fancy gala vibes.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
We could have, like, formally dressed. This could have been my chance to wear
I
formal
mean, I got like a pullover.
Yeah,
I didn't
look
own
swanky.
this 2 days ago. Like I bought the $15 on Amazon for this occasion. Yes.
Wow.
I did.
Wow.
That's
I
a
did
lot
buy
of
these on
commitment.
Amazon too.
I mean-
Why are you covered in grass?
Am I covered in grass?
Yeah.
How did I get grass on me? I didn't even fall.
Like pants, I'd be like, okay. But
Like,
it's just your shirt.
where did I'm actually what? Okay. I don't know. I think I was maybe frolicking in some grass, but I don't remember. Yeah.
I don't remember that.
I really don't. This is
You
like
always
legit
remember
new. Like I
frolicking.
just pulled this out like yesterday, so now I'm like
really
really
weird.
confused.
That's really weird.
Huh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you look like you could go to a yacht club in Central Park.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Like I definitely felt weird going to the groceries this morning.
I can't believe you, like, that's not attached, right? Like, you could have just taken the sweater part off.
I
'Cause
could
it's like
have.
95 degrees outside.
Yeah.
I could have, but no. Like I wanted to commit to this Stuart Little aesthetic today to get prepared into the movie and to get ready for our screening. So I feel like this was part of the experience.
Okay. It's like
Yeah.
method acting.
Yeah, but
For
like
a
method
podcast.
viewing, but for podcasts. I don't know.
Wait, okay, method viewing could be like a fun. I feel like that's how we go to movies.
That is.
But it's like just part of the day.
I mean, I think people should just dress up for movies more often.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
you know?
what we were saying. Like, it's becoming more of a thing with Barbenheimer, but like,
When I was at the movies at like 10 p.m. yesterday, everyone's still wearing pink. It's been like weeks.
I think we're at a moment where society's ready to change. I think we just have to get like the theaters into it, you know, like
Yeah.
encourage people to
Say
dress
it
up.
again. Say it again.
Oh, getting people like to
Into the
into the spirit of things,
into the
into the
location of.
theater.
See, now you sound yacht club. The theater.
The theater, yeah.
I always forget that you say it like that. And then it always
Theater
makes me
is
double
either
take. That's how Jeff would
really-
always say it.
There's a fine line between it being really formal and really like southern.
yeah.
Mm,
The theater.
Theater.
Yeah.
Really like break it up.
Yeah. My family's from the south, so I'm gonna assume it's the south thing, probably. We'll see.
It's like my grandpa says Renaissance.
Mm. How often is your grandpa talking about the Renaissance?
A lot. Well, technically he studied like medieval literature. That's like his thing. He was a professor of like, you know.
So Renaissance is like a huge part of his
Renaissance.
vocab, yeah.
Renaissance.
No, I always get very self-conscious now because I didn't realize I said it that
Well, now I
way,
feel
and that
bad.
was no, it was very
That's
interesting.
like I always said museum. Like I really went zam.
Yeah.
And my family always made fun of me, so now I really emphasize museum. And I like have switched it
Yeah.
just so they'd shut up.
We used to all make fun of our roommate so much because she says water.
Water?
Water. Like, you drink what? She's like, shut up.
I've like distant relatives in Britain, and they say "water," and it's just like, and sometimes when they speak fast, it's when some of those words just like sound like complete gibberish, and I just have to sit there like staring at them blankly.
My favorite is when Isabel goes to family gatherings where her family is like Haitian and Scottish, and she sometimes doesn't want to talk to her relatives, so she just tells them she can't speak French, even though she does. Like, she'll go to an event and be like,
good.
sorry, and just no
That's
one
really
talks
good.
to her.
That's really good. I wish I could do that.
I should learn a separate language just to do that at family engagements. Like, hey, I'm really getting into Italian here, so unless you can speak Italian, I'm not going to engage with you for the rest of the night.
Please do that. That'd be incredible. I don't even think you have to learn Italian to say that. Because
You have to learn how to say that in
In
Italian.
Italian, though,
But
yeah, because
that's it,
otherwise
yeah.
they won't buy it. They'll just be like,
Mm.
oh, you're being antisocial.
Yeah, otherwise they'll be like, this is totally okay. Should we, like, explain the setup here?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know that we
Yeah.
ever said what's going on. This is the Pawlywood Pawdcast.
Yeah, I think every episode that comes a little bit later. Like,
We're here, we're talking animal movies.
Yeah.
with two paws. We realize
With
no
two
animal
paws.
has two paws. We always say
No.
the Pawlywood Podcast with two paws.
There's that.
Right? Doesn't it seem like there should be?
There
But
should
there's
be.
not.
There's not.
Oh.
Because it's either they have 2 feet or they have 4 paws.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh well. That's
If
okay.
there is one, it will be on
I'm
us.
learning from the Pawlywood Podcast already. There has
Right?
to be 2.
This is an educational show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot that have 2 and then some more.
Yeah, because there's like meerkats, right? Or
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the
but they
meer-
still
That's the
But-
first
but
thing I
yeah.
thought of when I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But
we
yeah,
talk
we're here.
about...
We're talking animal movies. You know, it's got paws. It's got not paws.
Yeah. We've done fish. We had Shark
fins,
Weeks
claws.
last time.
Some hoofs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this week, paws. We're watching Stuart Little.
Mhm.
That's from
1999.
1999. Who's here today? I'm Sydney, you're Shannon, and you are?
I'm Rohan.
Rohan suggested this movie.
Yeah.
I did, yes. Stuart Little. The whole Stuart Little franchise has a weird little nostalgic part of my heart. So I'm glad to be here to share the love with everybody. Yes.
We are
Do you
glad
have
to have you.
any, how do you want to introduce yourself? Like, what's your deal?
Oh,
Who are you?
yeah,
How
you- yeah,
How do we
the-
know you?
Yeah, well, I
I
mean,
cut him off because I was so excited.
Who are
to
you?
have Stuart Little.
well, I go to Chapman. I'm in the MFA film program. I met Shannon through that program. So, originally from Seattle. So, yeah, and I like movies. It's pretty much like most of my personality, I feel like.
I feel that. I always feel so awful whenever anyone asks me like what my interests are outside of like what I study and like do
Yeah, I
as
got
like a
nothing.
job, because I literally don't.
I'm
I'm like, I don't think I like anything.
When I get
No.
asked, like, what do I do for fun? It's like,
Yeah.
I go to the movie theater or I sit in my house and knit.
yeah.
No, whenever
and they're
there's,
doing
like-
crafts.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
When
all I do.
professors make us fill out like the student info sheet that's like, tell me about yourself, what are your other interests, I literally have like an existential crisis for like 10 minutes where I don't know what I do. other
Yeah,
than-
well, I just start like saying like I've read books, and then
Yeah.
and then
not
you're
like,
like
I read them now, but I
Yeah.
have
I
read them.
have read them before, and then it's pretty much just like hobbies are like things that I have done once before,
Yes.
and that's
That's
the
what I'll do.
list
I'll do
usually
like,
goes
oh,
to.
I make music. But it's music for movies.
For
It's
movies.
for movies. It's not separate.
Yeah, I play video games, but I don't really play video games. I just kind of listen and learn about video games.
You just watch videos.
And I watch
about
other
it.
people play video games. That's pretty much it.
So clearly we're the perfect people to be here talking about the cinematic masterpiece.
That is
Stuart
Stuart
Little.
Little. Yes.
Yeah.
All we do is movie.
All we do is movie.
All we do is
What's the
movie.
meme?
If what can.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, our job is just movie.
Our job
Yeah,
is movie.
Just movie.
Just movie.
But we like it that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see we have a different background today. It's kind of equally as cursed as usual. Normally we do it in Sydney's house sitting on like beach chairs like, in front of the fireplace that we haven't figured out how to turn on in like a year.
Yeah.
You're gonna move out of the apartment
And I'm
without
not
ever
ever
having
learned.
figured it
Yeah,
out.
you're right.
But yeah, I've just moved into a new apartment.
High ceilings.
Very high
High
ceilings,
ceilings.
yeah, with a very small lamp.
Yes.
And
So
I just
here,
moved
it
in.
looks a little bit like we're in an empty house.
Yeah.
Or like in a
We
random...
broke it.
Yes.
Wait, a new
Beautiful
podcast
thing.
where we're just like squatters. And like every place is a different house.
Well, it's especially because this is not a table, it's a box. And you're both on like metal fold-out
Fold-out
chairs.
Yeah, so this is a 2-bedroom, but my friend that I'll be living with moves in 12 days after me, so a few days from now. And she's bringing furniture that she already has, so I didn't want to like buy new furniture just for
I was
the 12
wondering
days.
what the plan was.
I didn't want to buy new furniture.
I didn't want to ask.
Just
Yeah.
for like the week and a half before she gets here, because
Yeah.
that'd be
No,
like
that's
kind of a
valid.
waste. So I was like, I'm just gonna sit on like my bedroom chair that is just out here temporarily. These 2 chairs I had from being on set that just live in my car normally, and I use boxes as tables.
The
But
table boxes is by far the
Yeah.
best part.
but soon on the 12th she'll get back and we'll have furniture.
I'm gonna-
A full setup for the podcast.
Oh,
Maybe not quite. But...
Today's my half birthday. That's exciting.
Oh, happy half birthday!
Yeah.
Normally, I remember a couple days after it. So maybe
I've never in my life remembered my half birthday.
You know what I realized?
What?
If I knew it was your birthday, I would have totally suggested cheesecake.
Oh,
that would have been great.
That would have been great.
That's okay. It's not my real birthday.
I would have just used it for the cheesecake, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a lot of cheese-themed snacks today,
Yes.
and I made a big table with 3 boxes to put my cheese plate on.
A beautiful cheese plate.
It was a beautiful cheese plate. I ate so much cheese.
Yes.
It's just you guys eating normal amounts and me eating like a plate's worth of cheese.
I ate just like a
I
whole
love
stack
cheese.
of crackers.
I love goat cheese.
Yeah, I
It's
love
so good.
Goat cheese is delicious. Yeah. The honey was great.
Not really a
Mm.
cheese girl, but I am a cracker girl.
But yeah, all in honor of today's movie mouse,
Yes,
Stuart
Stuart.
himself. He is little.
Yes.
I guess let's get into it.
Well, I mean, first.
Oh.
Outfits. What are we wearing
So
today?
Yeah, well,
Um,
I think I spoiled it a little
Yeah, you
earlier,
kind of
but
said.
I came as Stuart Little, as close to the poster Stuart Little as we could
it's
get.
pretty close.
It's
Yeah.
pretty close,
The
yeah.
primary colors in this movie are striking.
Very striking, very
Yeah.
saturated, very
Yeah.
bright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like literally Edward Scissorhands
Yeah.
levels
Mhm.
of like saturation. Like, yeah. I'm a mouse. Duh. Need I say more? We all know the movie. I'm not gonna get into it. I didn't
But
have,
I mean,
like,
for our countless audio listeners,
Yeah,
you're wearing
right.
ears.
Ears.
well, yeah, because in the movie she wears like a little black dress. I don't
Yeah.
have like a really slutty one, so this is just the black dress I wear every day that I got for $10 at the thrift store in high school. But it's still a black dress, and I have mouse ears, so I'm Karen from Mean Girls on Halloween.
Incredible.
Okay.
I couldn't decide. I was like, should I be?
He texted me and was like, "What's a mouse?"
I was like, yeah, trying to think of what famous mouses there were, famous mice, and I was like, I could be Stuart Little.
Yeah.
I probably have those things.
But
then where is it? You or I think I was like Chuck E. Cheese.
I think you asked me what a mouse was, and I was like, Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay.
It's the first thing that came to mind, and you were like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be Chuck
Yes.
E. Cheese.
Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Cheese.
That's me. I've got the green. He wears like green shorts, which I didn't have, but
It really is giving like 1980s cheerleader with like the big
Mhm.
fleece sweatshirt that I never know how they exercise in.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's I had already worn my green pants, so I mixed it up with my other green thing, and then this shirt, which is from a volleyball tournament in 2015, turned to inside out. It's the only purple shirt I had, and then I just cut this out and taped it on.
Yeah, Sydney got here and was like, "Do you have scissors and tape?" And I was like, "What did you bring here that you need?"
Yeah,
tape
I had to
for?"
make the seat.
Yeah.
I was
So-
not. I really hated Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, so.
you know, Chuck E. Cheese's have like a surprisingly high amount of violent crimes. It's so strange. I learned that like a couple months
Like
ago.
relative to like other places.
Yeah,
Like any other place.
my parents get into fights there like all the time. Apparently.
I just really didn't like Chuck E. Cheese
I
myself.
like Chuck E. Cheese right up till 8, and I don't know what changed about it. Just it looked different.
That sounds like something that what I would do.
Yeah. Like
that was how I felt about blueberries and berries in general. I like loved them. I could not have enough berries, and then one day I had a really gross blueberry, and I was like, absolutely not, and I
No.
have not had one since. And that was when I was like,
one
4.
blueberry changed.
Yeah, I was like,
No, I feel like I have the same
take it
thing.
out,
Yeah.
get away with it. But yeah, I really hated Chuck E. Cheese. I didn't like pizza as a kid. Now it's fine. But the fact that was the whole deal was you go pizza and then you got
And then with
You
your
got this
greasy
big
hands,
guy.
you all play video
not
games
that
together.
part was fine, but it was that the guy was in costume, and I don't even think it was that he was in like, because I know some people really don't like the people that are like
Mouse
Yeah,
mouse.
and-
yeah. It was the way that it was a whole thing that you had to dance.
Did you have to dance?
Yeah, that was like.
I don't
the
remember
point.
ever dancing.
It was like
with Chuck
he
E.
did a
Cheese.
dance and everyone was supposed
Yeah.
to join along and
Ah.
like sing, and I was like absolutely
No.
not, Because I was terrified of the chicken dance too. I'd cry every time.
that's
it
right.
happened.
I hate that we
There's like a whole like collage of pictures of me like sobbing as everyone else does the chicken dance, and I'm like so still, like tears down my cheeks. It's like at like a preschool concert thing, and my mom has clearly sent my sister up to like be my emotional support. She's like standing next to me, just crying.
We had like a weird amount of like similar things.
Were you
happened
also
in our childhoods.
chicken dance?
Yeah, we've talked about this because we both were like almost kidnapped by like our extended family at age 1
to get our ears
like
pierced.
benignly to get our ears pierced. We both.
I was about to question what the kidnapping was for.
It was to get our ears pierced.
We
against our parents' wishes, or was yours fine with it?
No, my mom said you will never see this child again. And
Yeah, that was my mom. My mom immediately fired the nanny. She just flat out lied. She's like, "Oh yeah, we're at the library," and my mom's like, "I'm at the library. You're not there."
But yeah, we've independently written the same exact script one time. And I also had a phobia of the chicken dance as a kid. Because in hindsight, I clearly had some very serious, like, anxiety OCD issues already.
Yeah.
If I thought something was, like, inappropriate, I would, like, flip my
Yeah.
Which is why I, like, ran out of Chicken Little crying as a kid, is because there's a scene where he's, like, in his underwear. And I was like, that's so inappropriate. And I literally started crying and, like, ran to the bathroom.
Chicken dance because you shake the butt?
Yeah, because it has...
Yeah.
Okay, literally, I remember being in, like, gymnastics camp or something. And they were playing the chicken dance, but not the version with words in it. The instrumental version.
Yeah.
And I, like, ran up to one of the...
I also ran crying out of gymnastics. But it was because I jumped too high on the trampoline. And it freaked me out. And I immediately started sobbing and bolted. And they had to chase me down.
But what I did was I went up to one of like the instructors or whatever, and I was like, they're playing the song and it doesn't have words, but in the version that has words, they say the word butt, and that's not appropriate. And they were like, oh, okay, I'll go talk to someone.
I don't know.
I
think I just was the dancing. I was like, too much anxiety is happening. I can't. Yeah.
Oh, I hated the dancing at Chuck E. Cheese.
That's why
I don't think I ever did the dancing.
I would definitely just like stand in the corner and cry.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know, being aware of what my body's doing in public.
Yeah, no, I just like imagine
like, even now thinking about it, I'm like, ugh.
No, anytime I think about somebody else looking at me dance, that's when things get weird, because I'm like, my body's just like contorting that, so it shouldn't be. It should just stand still.
Anyway, Stuart Little.
Stuart Little, yeah.
We've been going for 20 minutes. Yeah. This has been happening more and more lately. It takes us a really long time to start the recap, but I think that's okay. I think we're finding our rhythm as a podcast.
But yeah, Stuart Little, recat, for you who's a guest, recat is a pun on recap.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cat.
Were you wondering?
Yeah,
no.
Did you figure that out?
I think I got that, but
just making sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we send all our guests like an incoherent Google Doc that Sydney made, where it just says like, "Where does the train go?" Self-explanatory segment, and they always go.
The rest of them have it.
It's not self-explanatory.
No, it's really not. But I'm like, okay, we'll roll with it. Yeah.
It feels like we're gonna like fight you if you ask about it.
Yeah, the bits have to extend into the written.
word. But yeah, I'm the only one that, per usual fashion, I'm the only one here that hasn't seen the movie as a kid. And I was not ready for it, because it was way crazier than I thought.
No, it's hard to explain, like, the very weird stuff of the early 2000s, late 90s is just like something it's always a tone that you're so whimsically unprepared for.
It's something I had no questions as a kid. I was like, this is just a fun time.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, this is really funny in the best way. As a kid, I would not have, like, I was like, this is just fun.
Yeah, no, as a kid, you're just, like, accepting the world of Stuart Little. But once you've grown up and you've seen the world as it is, there's a lot more questions. And
you see the world and you realize that mice don't hail taxis.
No one's house has ever looked like this.
Nobody goes to the orphanage and brings home a mouse.
No one goes into the orphanage intending a same-day adoption.
Yes.
Like, literally, yeah, I guess that's where we start, is the kid is like, will he be there when I get home? And the parents are like,
That's
yeah.
true.
And I was like, oh, they're going to the pet store. And you guys were like, no, they're adopting a child. And they're
Immediately
the New York City Public Orphanage.
And their plan is literally, we're going to go into the orphanage and walk out with a child today.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, sure.
And they sit there as all these children are like going crazy in this like one.
They really just open the door and they walk in
and they're just sitting there staring at all these children running about, and they're like, should we have a girl? Should we have a boy? And I'm like, did you not have this conversation beforehand?
What age do you want?
Yeah. Basic criteria, things like that.
If they were going to get a pet, they would have thought about it more. Like,
yeah.
Those are the kind of questions that, like, if you're getting a pet, you're thinking about it. Like, do I want a boy or a girl? How old do I want this? Do I want a baby cat, or do I want a full cat? What about a child? That's even more.
And I think those lack of questions that were asked before definitely come into play when Stuart enters the picture, because that presents another heaping of questions that are like. Were you prepared for this child in any sense at all? This mouse, even, you know?
But they sit down on this bench as they watch the kids run around in the orphanage.
Yeah.
Loose children. And then they hear a voice from between them and look down, and there's a mouse in an outfit.
Yes.
And he's like, let me give you the rundown. Let me tell you about all these kids. This one can run really fast. This one... I don't remember what other things was. I feel like one of them was like, knows all the 50 states. It was
yes.
like, when no one's like,
it was kind of giving like the orphanage from Annie.
Yes.
Like,
very strong.
Classic depiction of an orphanage.
A little bit like, I feel like Despicable Me, the orphanage is a similar energy too.
Yeah.
Of like, random dude walks in and walks out with children.
Hey,
no questions asked.
No questions asked. No background
just
required.
Just like the poster of Stuart. No questions asked.
No.
Truly, there's more like checkup if you're like adopting a pet.
But yeah, Stuart is like, they're like, you seem to know a lot about all of these kids, and he's like, and no one ever wants me.
Yes.
And they're like, we'll take him. We'll adopt the mouse.
I think for me, this is where my first question of things came in.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is where I started trying to figure out what the story rules were.
Yeah.
Mostly because they just accepted this mouse talking to them very easily.
The mouse that was reading a tiny copy of Little Women.
Yes, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of just everyone accepting everything at face value. And even in a movie that requires suspension of disbelief, I still kind of want there to be a moment of, like, audience identification where someone is like, this is weird, right?
A little bit.
No, I think there wasn't. Nobody but the kid had any questions.
Yeah, the kid was literally, there's like a 4-year-old who's like the straight man of the whole movie. Because he's the only one that thinks this is weird.
Yes.
Like,
even like the extended family.
They take a second, and then
they're
it's literally the scene from Lamb where the brother shows up and is like, this is a crime against nature, and they're all like, and we're happy, and he just goes, okay. Like, same thing.
They're like happy to play along with the delusion. Yes.
Yeah.
Weren't we realizing the other day that Stuart Little is just Lamb, but like...
It is a similar...
It's
like a different vibe.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it's just Stuart doesn't want to become a demon in any sense of the word.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't know that about him.
You know what?
Yeah.
We have not watched 2 or 3. We don't know where the franchise evolves. Yes.
I really want to watch 2 and 3 now. But yeah, so this is where you first started questioning. Would you say you had more or less questions as we went on?
Less. It seemed like we just kind of rolled with what we had, and I mean, my only question, which I suppose we can get into because once they bring him home, we get Snowbell for the first time.
So it is Snowbell.
Yes,
right?
I think Snowbell.
I think it's Snowbell.
Yeah.
Which isn't a thing.
Yeah. And Snowbell has like a very, very strong gangster, New York Italian gangster vibe going on just off the bat.
Yeah.
And like he almost tries to eat Stuart, right?
Yeah.
So my next question there was like, did they not think through the cat mouse situation, which they clearly did not. And then he gives him like a whole like rundown of like, this is my house. And with this kind of energy, and I don't know.
It's also like what are the rules here of what animals can talk to people? And what can't?
Yeah, like
they can all talk, but
it's like the same rules as Cinderella, because like Cinderella's talking to the mice, but like not the cat.
Yeah. So I feel like,
but the cat doesn't then talk to the mice in Cinderella like this one does.
Yeah. So I don't think they ever resolved that. But we just they rolled with it pretty consistently.
They really didn't think about like, what are we gonna do with our cat? That's how my family ended up with a hamster. Was my someone my mom worked with got a hamster, but they had a cat, and it kept trying to eat the hamster, and they're like, okay, do you want a hamster? So we were like, okay, sure. And so then we had a hamster.
Yeah.
And we put it in a little car. Yeah, we put it in a little Barbie car and pushed it around.
Oh, I feel like I used to do that with my gerbils. I had 2 gerbils.
We only had fish. Yeah.
Oh, we had this big aquarium fish tank for a few years when I was younger, in the living room, this big, and we had to get rid of it because we had mantis shrimp.
Yes.
You were the one who I was like, somebody's told me this story.
They live in the rocks sometimes that you get from to put in the fish tank.
Yeah.
And we kept whatever fish we would buy for it would always just mysteriously go missing or turn up dead. And for so long we couldn't figure out what the problem was, and it turned out it was because there was a mantis shrimp living in the rock, eating and killing all the fish. And we kept trying to get it, and it would just hide. And then I think eventually my dad wrestled it out of the tank and put it in the kitchen and cut it up with a knife or something.
That's a lie.
I don't know why that would have happened, but that's how I remember it. Is he was clacking around, but we had to throw it away. We had to kill the mantis shrimp because it kept eating whatever fish we would buy.
Yeah,
which is fair.
I think eventually we just gave up on that.
I mean, at that point, you have a pet mantis shrimp.
Yeah, I feel like that's its own situation.
That's the pet. It wasn't what you wanted, but it's what you got.
Right.
You're feeding it. You're taking care of it.
We were feeding it with fish.
Yeah.
You know that Tumblr post? What?
Oh no, I was just gonna. No. No, I was just gonna, because my crazy, I don't know how we got on this, because my crazy fish story is that my fish were suicidal at one point, and because we basically, they would jump the tank every time, and the first time we left the window open and we were 8 stories up, and so the fish straight up fell into the street.
You shouldn't have shown them Finding Nemo.
No, we didn't. We should not have, because I feel like those fish got some ideas. And
imagine just being a fish, living your whole life inside a tank, and then one day you experience an 8-story flight. That fish saw more of life than it ever thought.
It really did, and the crazy part was though every replacement fish we got for the next 2 or 3, they also jumped the tank, and we could not figure it out for the life of us because it just stopped one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
One of my betta fish, the one that was lasted the longest. I was going on vacation. I was going to a family reunion, and I drove to my friend's house for her to watch it. And I got a text while we were at a theme park. I'm just got off the rides with my family, and I get this text. Sydney, I think your fish is dead. It hasn't moved in a day. And I would just look over to my mom, and I'm like, I think the fish died. No. Yeah.
Fish are fragile.
They really are. It got too scared of that car ride. Yeah, what were you
Stuart Little.
Stuart Little. So they get him. They're they get the orphanage. The person who runs the orphanage was Mrs. Keeper, which I just thought was notable.
Yeah, all the names were sort of
because her whole thing is getting rid of children.
Yes.
And yeah, so they bring home Stuart Little.
Oh, and there's a weird bit about they're we really discourage families from adopting children of a different species, and it's a weird.
Yeah.
A weird moment.
Very weird moment. Very, very weird quote, which I'm sure we'll get back to.
Anyway. But yeah, there's a weird, some weird humor in here. But they make it back. Cat, the Italian gangster, mob boss Cat, who's played by Nathan Lane, doing very Nathan Lane. Peak Nathan Lane.
Yeah.
And now we were just immediately this is
they just
this is
let
the
him
best
in
thing
the studio.
Yeah.
Say whatever you want.
Felt very improv almost, Nathan Lane just going at it.
Yes. I was losing it the whole time. It was just oh my god. The movie went from a 3 to a 10 in that moment as soon as the cat started talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the crazy really got into.
But yeah, so then the kid comes home.
Yeah.
And they're like, your brother, he's here. He's a mouse. And the kid's like, no.
No.
What?
This isn't my brother, and he plays it pretty straight. And
Yeah, he's really upset.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I don't think there should be character development in this movie because he's right.
He's right.
Objectively. And so I think this is also where the subplot of the cats, because we get to go into the cat world a lot more, which was a part I loosely remember, but
I didn't remember it at all.
And it gave like a very Five Boroughs feel. So he goes. It's like nighttime, right? Like one of his cat friends comes over initially that day, finds Stuart, and then there's like a crisis, right? Because there's like a mouse that is basically owning the cat, and so when that happens, they have this meeting in this dark alley, right? And the cats are laughing because it's like, oh, how could a mouse own a cat as a pet?
Oh yeah, that's when the like Smokey, the like
the head of the Burrows.
the head,
Yeah.
where he's like, oh, what did he say? I wrote it down because I thought it was funny.
Oh, he wrote it down. It's because I think one cat's laughing at.
Oh yeah, he just goes, "That's not funny. It's sick." He's like really upset about it.
Very upset about it.
It's so good though, because they're all doing like a weird like Goodfellas bit where they're like you're just seeing like I think it was later on where they have that like 30-second shot of the cats, but like you just see their shadows talking. Like the other night I was watching The King of New York because Josh recommended it to me, and I was like in quarantine.
It's not a reference I thought we'd be making today.
No, but have you seen it?
No.
It's like it's such a weird like campy like 90s camp Christopher Walken crime film, but it was like kind of that like 90s camp criminal underworld.
Yeah.
So we're all in the alley, but it was like cats. I did love it so much. It was just so funny. They're all doing like the Goodfellas like type voice.
All of them. They're all going for it.
Yeah.
They would be saying water.
But it's just so insane. Whenever any of the cats talk, it's like a little bit different. Like some of the cats' CG looks like way better.
Snowbell, I thought was really good.
Yeah.
The rest of them,
I couldn't tell if it was like the cats were real, but they CGI like the eyes and the mouth only.
I think so.
Okay.
but Snowbell they didn't do as much like like expressions. It was really just
They
the
didn't
mouth.
have to. He was a good actor.
Yeah.
I think he was also just really fluffy. But the ones that were less fluffy, there was a lot of eyebrow moving happening. And like cats don't do that. So
that definitely leaves off just a very.
when he's running away from the cat, he falls down the stairs into George's room.
Yes.
George lives in the basement in like a secret layer
Stuart
where
has
he
a room,
builds
but George
stuff.
lives in the basement.
Yeah.
And a secret door. It's literally a secret layer.
Yeah.
It's the wall opens up.
Their house is like so weird too.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't realize they put George in like a Dobby situation. Like
They
he
really
literally
did.
lives
He's
under
like-
the stairs.
But that was also after, like, because all the family came over, the extended family, and they brought Stuart Little, like, a bowling ball and a bike.
Yeah.
And all this, and they're like, are they gonna like him? Yes, they like him. He's a cute little mouse.
Yeah.
And then the kid is like, why are you giving this to him? What's he gonna do with a bowling ball?
Which
and he's like, yeah, he's got a
he
point.
got a very strong point there. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a lot when he's like, he's a mouse. He's not my brother. It's like, he could be both.
Yeah. Yeah, and he, I think this is where his arc sort of begins to shift in this, in the bedroom, because Stuart drops into like one of his models, and he's like,
The Western.
I'm a Western, and then
the weird bit.
A whole slew of insults that I was like, where are you
wanna
learning these?
possum? And I'm like, what does that mean?
yeah.
Didn't the George call him like pickle face or something?
Yeah, I didn't know what that
I
meant.
didn't know what that meant either.
I really have some questions for that later on, probably about just where Stuart's from. I have some questions about that.
First, that's how they get along. It's like he's like, oh, I can drive a car.
Yeah.
I can do silly bits with a train.
Yeah, there's a train.
There's a train bit where he pretends to be almost run over by a train.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, then the boat. He's like, this is a boat. Let's do a boat race.
Yeah.
We can do this together.
I think something along this nature. Like he encourages.
And that's when
Because the kid is like, Dad and I never finished building the boat.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
says I'm too small or something. He says I'm too little.
He's like, all the kids at school, I'm too little compared to them. It's like, yeah, because the kids at school that we meet are like 6 years older than you.
Yeah.
There's no way you're anywhere near the same grade.
I mean, that was like one of the first things that we commented when we first saw the kids. Like, this
He's
kid's
so
he's
little.
short.
I found
Yeah.
the smallest kid ever.
Yeah.
Like, who will look the size of the mouse? And
It's not just like he's not just little. He's really young. Like I feel like that's
Like
a big
he's
part.
in first, like somewhere between first and third grade. I feel like, right? Younger,
Really closer to
older?
first. But
I
I'm
feel
really
like he's
not.
like a first grader.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say I was surprised by how like not a main character the kid was, because I feel like I was expecting it to be like the kid and the mouse were like the main
Yeah.
storyline, and it kind of was, but it was more like the family as an ensemble.
Yeah.
And when it was the end credits and it was like the kid and the mouse, I was like, the kid wasn't really in this as much as the end credits are.
No, I
making
feel
it
like the kid, once the preceding boat race happens, his arc is like
It's
Yeah.
very.
he's
That was
like, "You're
something
my
I
brother."
wrote down. I was like, there. It's 2 movies.
Yeah.
There's the boat race. I was like, this feels like a climactic end to
Yeah.
the movie.
Yeah.
And then there's a whole nother movie after it with a completely different premise.
Yeah,
Yes.
and a bunch of CG.
Like a different. Yeah.
I was expecting it to be, because I remembered the boat, but I never remembered where it was when we were first watching it. So when the
Yeah.
boat happened, I was like, oh wow, quick movie. I was
Yeah.
like, quick 80.
Yeah.
And then, nah, that was our midpoint. That was when,
It was like the first half was like his family learning to love him.
yeah.
The second half was him learning to love
Love
his family.
himself. Oh,
And
I feel
himself.
like he loved them immediately though.
Yeah, but he was like, I'm not content here.
yeah,
I
I
need
don't
to know
belong here.
Right,
Ish.
I want to
my
find my
parents
mouse.
are.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which comes.
Yeah. But yeah, so
Yeah.
there's the boat race. He like, they leave it up to him to carry the remote when it's 3 times the size of him, and it gets gets stepped on.
Obviously.
And then they're like, what are we gonna do? And Hugh Laurie, the dad, looks like he just lost his father or something. He's like,
Gives like a very mournful
crying.
speech about the boat.
yeah. But then all of a sudden, Stuart Little's on the boat and he's sailing, and he doesn't know how, but he's doing it.
Yeah.
And he fights the other boat.
Yeah,
And
the bigger boat that like
Yeah.
chews up all the other boats in the race.
I was wondering, how was that kid cool that had the bigger boat?
Yeah,
Because
the rat
he,
kid.
I
He had like a rat face. Like he kept talking about
Like,
Stuart Little
who
being
are
the
you
rat,
talking
but
about?
yeah, he was one of those like annoying looking kids that kind of looks like a rat.
Yeah.
Sorry,
You're
that's
right.
so mean.
No,
He's
you're
just a
right.
kid.
Yeah,
He
he
was
had a,
right.
he
He's
had a
playing
very,
the bully.
yeah, he had a very preppy bully.
He was
Yeah.
like just so preppy. Is like if I was walking around and it's like a Sunday afternoon and I'm wearing a full suit to the park.
So
How are you cool?
I don't.
Where's
know.
this? I mean, I guess your status is coming from money, but like, I feel like that's not what like second graders are into.
Nah.
yeah,
which,
the children's yacht race.
Yeah, you're. I guess it is like a yacht and weird kids.
Yeah, and
Everyone
that's
is
their
so
focus.
rich in this movie.
It is weird. It's
Very
like kind of
weird.
weird. Like they're in Manhattan and their house is like
their house is like this own thing. It's surrounded by like buildings that
Yeah.
have been
Yeah,
overlaid.
it had like an up vibe
Mhm.
when the city's around the house.
Yeah. I wonder how old the house was. I was
it looked
thinking
so
that.
old
so
and
cool.
so new.
Yeah, that's
It
a
was like a Tim Burton like
Mm-hmm.
multicolored, very
Yeah.
fun.
Very
PD and costume design were kind of
Mm-hmm.
they
the
had fun
stars
with it
of this movie.
very much.
Yeah, so he wins the race, and then he's like,
and it's like, how is he sailing? It's a remote control.
and
boat,
the
sure.
bully is like, what is that mouse doing?
Yeah.
And he's like, it's not a mouse, it's my,
My
brother.
brother.
And then everyone puts on a suit and takes a picture.
Yeah, that was really funny when the guy is about to take the picture. He doesn't look, and he's just like,
Oh my
"This
God,
looks
yeah.
so great." It's like,
Yeah. You guys look like a really great family.
yeah,
So they're all wearing like matching white tuxedos.
yeah,
And it feels like that's the end of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Wrapped up, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And
They
then-
shot it and then realized it was like half an hour, and they were like, we gotta shoot some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Stuart Little was like, what about my parents? And like, his parents show up. Or no, that's when they go to the adoption agency back, and they're like, where are his parents? We want to see them.
Yeah, because
So
they-
this
And the woman's like, that's not how it works.
I don't like. This is a question I had was, this, you got this child from a public orphanage. You
Uh-huh.
think the parents are fine?
Yeah.
You think the parents are alive and well? Why is the kid in an orphanage?
yeah,
Mhm.
and
Like,
And that's like the kind of thing that you get, you know, when you're picking the kid up. I feel like you find out, is it an open or closed adoption?
Yeah.
Do we know who these parents are? Can you contact them?
Like, it feels like it's such a rushed decision at the end of it, and I think that spurs a lot of the parents' insecurities. And so they have to go search for these answers.
Stuart Little is like, I'm just wondering about my birth family. And the parents go, he hates us.
Yeah.
To his face. He's like, he hates us so much. This is awful.
Doesn't the dad go like, I've never been hated before?
You were not prepared at all for a kid. What?
No.
Stuart Little's like then comforting him. And he's like, I don't hate you.
Yes.
When's like,
I'm just a talking mouse, and I'm like wondering why.
when is the right time to address that this was co-written by M. Night Shyamalan? Should we just
now?
I just want to make sure we don't forget.
Yeah.
Because what?
Yeah, because very much what. Although I feel like this was like his time before The Sixth Sense, because apparently I was doing a little research. This is the only movie he wrote in 1999. The other movie he wrote in 1999 under a ghost name was She's All That.
What?
Yes.
What?
I learned this in my research. Apparently he wrote 2 movies, Stuart Little and She's All That, in 1999. And he made The Sixth Sense.
What are you doing?
Insane year for him.
Was that also co-writing, or just straight up She's All That was written by M. Night Shyamalan?
Well, he said he was a ghostwriter on it, and he didn't.
So like a writer. That's still crazy.
Yes.
What in the world?
I love the range.
The range is insane.
M. Night Shyamalan is such a hit or miss guy.
But it's like, it's always going to be a good time.
Yeah.
You know,
I still
I'll
remember
always go see.
Did we see Old together?
Yeah.
And I thought the twist was going to be that everyone in the movie was like an aged up child, because they all talked like
They all talk so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's very clear in Stuart Little that particular facet of his writing came from the beginning, because like the kids in this movie speak like no other kids I've ever heard in my entire life. Especially Stuart Little, because Stuart
how
Little.
old is he?
I don't know.
I have.
Like when he's at the orphanage, he's really like selling himself. Like I was really impressed. I was like,
he's a salesman.
I was like, this mouse like has like better public speaking skills
him
than I
out
ever
selling some cars, door to door.
That is what he felt like. Anyway,
yeah, Stuart Little. It felt like aren't there those stories of like, we adopted a kid and turns out it's this 40-year-old woman pretending to be a kid.
Like the orphan or whatever.
Was that in the what the
like
plot?
I think so.
I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
I think there's like it's like real too.
I think that was based on it.
Yeah. It felt kind of like that, where I was like, I feel like he's a full adult.
Yeah.
I know. There's like a specific vibe of like talking animals in movies where it's like kind of a kid and kind of not.
Yeah. It's like he's supposed to be a kid, but also
in his tween jacket.
An adult.
Yeah.
Little Women.
Yeah.
Like
it was confusing.
Yeah, very sophisticated kid if he is a kid.
He's like 34.
Yeah. He definitely acts like he's 34.
He's like early to mid 30s.
Yeah, especially in that moment where the parents were like, I've never been hated before. It's like that, even the emotional maturity came out just a bit, and I was like, okay. Yeah. I'm curious to see if this has a thriller element in number 2, because like number 3 I remember and it doesn't, but I feel like they should address it. Yeah.
Not enough chase scenes. Weirdly, a lot of chase scenes.
Yeah, a lot, especially the second half of the movie, because once that boat race happens, these 2 mice come to the front door dressed exclusively like in very nice clothes, and they're like, we're Stuart.
Nice, but in like a sort of like New Jersey.
Yeah.
Mom, boss, wife kind of way.
Yeah.
Yes,
They're straight out of some sort of. What they reminded me of. What is it in Zootopia? Aren't there the little like mice things that are the mafia that they go to the wedding?
That's definitely one that we had on in the house, and I watched.
They like go to the wedding, and she's like, "I love your dress," and it's like they do like a literal bit of The Godfather, where it's like.
There are so many movies doing The Godfather.
I
don't know
like,
a lot,
seen, like,
but it's literally. I don't think it's a mouse. It's like a vole or one of those like mole things, and it's like sitting in like the pinstripe suit at the wedding, and he's like, "You come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding," But it's talking like it's like really high pitched, squeaky little mouse.
Yeah. I hadn't known that was
that.
what Shark Tale was too, because I had never seen Shark Tale until we watched it.
Shark Tale was,
and I didn't know like it's literally The Godfather, and that's so funny.
Everyone's doing it. Everyone's referencing The Godfather, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
What was the other one?
Those were the
One
big two.
Scarface we've seen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
another
Apocalypse Now weirdly a few times.
Really?
It's come up, yeah.
Huh.
There's a lot of
The horror.
the horror. I love the smell of napalm in the morning, but so changing it to some other smell. Usually like
We're like, yeah, the kids are gonna love that one.
Yeah, The
But yeah,
Godfather. It's like, I don't know. I feel like a third of the movies. Are
Yeah, like the movie definitely has a Godfather influence
Uh-huh.
to a lot of the characters.
But yeah, so the mice show up and they're like, "Hey, we're Stuart's parents. We want him back now."
Yes.
And they're
we
like,
don't have what did he say? We don't have a prosperous family or something.
Yeah,
Or
like he like we weren't a prosperous family. We didn't come from nothing. Yeah. I just every time they spoke, it gave this kind of energy, you know? Yeah.
The mouse dad goes out and tries to hail a taxi.
Yeah.
And he succeeds.
Yes.
But then the kid comes out and is like, "You can have my car." And so they drive off and it plays Amore.
Oh my God.
As they drive over the bridge.
Yes.
Gina Davis is like, "Wait, this isn't right. We have to get him back." And then the husband, Hugh Laurie, is like, "This is what's best. You're being irrational. He has to go be with his mice parents." And it's like, I don't think she's the one that's.
Neither one of them.
You are
Because
both
her
cheating.
response is like, basically, "I'm just gonna kill him." And she's like, "I'm gonna scare them away. Like, go to kick them or something."
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, that's like right at the curb, right?
Yeah.
That moment happens right there. So she's like, "What if we just like get rid of these mice right now and
take
before,
them back.
and take them back already?" And it's a very weird moment because they're plotting right behind the mice.
They're right there,
Yeah.
Mhm.
The orphanage woman comes.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I
Oh, this
found
is
out
a
what happened to
great
his
scene.
parents.
Yes.
They were in the supermarket and the soup display fell over and smashed them.
Yes.
And then they had to go get they were so mangled they had to be identified by their dental records. Why do you have those mice dental records?
They died in a creamy mushroom accident.
Yeah.
I remember that line.
But the best part is that Gina Davis and what's his name are like, so they're okay, right? And it's like, what part of we had to identify the bodies by their dental records led you to believe that they are fine? And the woman from the adoption agency is like, "What's wrong with you? They're dead, you idiot."
Yeah.
I just said that.
Yeah,
And
they're
they're
like,
like,
"But we just gave him to
"Oh."
his parents." And she's like, "Haha, but I just said they're dead."
And they're like, "Oh, we have to call the police."
"Oh my
Yes.
God, he's got kidnapped." So now all of the cops in New York City are looking for Stuart Little, and they've got a missing poster. I
Oh
took
my
a picture of it.
Literally, it was
It's
so
awful.
insane.
Legendarily, maybe one of the worst wanted posters I've ever seen in movies.
I don't even know. Did they even say that he was? It said like he's missing.
Everything
That's it.
is in that like typewriter font. It says,
Yeah. There's no
in
pictures
various
to it.
sizes. It just says missing, Stuart Little, description, : looks somewhat like a mouse, answers to the name Stuart Little. And then it just says reward. And then at the bottom it says no questions asked, contact, : the Littles.
That's my favorite
There's
part.
no number, there's no what is that.
You'll find us.
Everybody in New York knows where the Littles are staying. Yes.
Yeah, that's either my favorite or it just looks somewhat like a mouse, as if he isn't a mouse. Like
Just
just
that like
remember-
half the info on the sheet is just Stuart Little,
Yeah.
his name.
And there's like, and this isn't just like the kid. There's like the entire
Uh-huh.
family is
Yeah.
like planning this, and there are like 7 adults in this room, and none of them have the.
It's like they couldn't decide whether to make it like a kid missing poster or a pet missing
Yeah.
poster.
They just went with.
Because it's that vibe of like answers to the name of
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
That's what
they're
I would be
all the cops in the city are looking for him, all of them.
Yes.
And they're looking for a specific mouse in all of New York City.
Mm-hmm.
And they're gonna find him though. And then the kid is like, "Dad, where's he gonna be? Are we gonna get him?" And the dad's like trying to break the news, but then realizes we didn't put a picture on the poster. we learned that the mouse parents are fake. They've been like threatened by the cat mafia.
Yeah.
Who, what I wrote down is the meowfia. So the meowfia.
Mafia.
The Pafia?
The Pafia.
Pafia. I like Pafia better. That's good. The Pafia.
They're both awful. I don't know which one is worse.
The Pafia is looking for him.
Yeah, and so they're like, okay, we gotta take him out to Night Boys. That's what the mafia is saying.
Yeah.
So then they have the parents and the woman in the couple and the Stuart's supposed mother.
Yeah.
Yes. She's like panicking and she's like, we have to tell this kid the truth.
Yeah.
They tell Stuart the truth, I think. Right?
Yeah.
And he's weirdly thrilled about it.
And he's like, thank God. Because I was wondering why I didn't feel anything here.
Yes. Yeah, he was, and then there's this insane like 360 telephoto lens shot.
The 360 shot.
Yeah, where he's like realizing like I'm not a stout, which is apparently the surname we came up with. And he's like, I'm not a stout, I'm a little. That's why.
And then there's like a weird like a King of the World shot where he's like, I'm Stuart Little.
But there's a great moment as he drives away where he goes, bye fake father, bye fake mother, and they go, bye fake son.
Yes.
It's such a weird.
Yes,
so weird.
So good.
But then, out of absolutely nowhere, the editing style becomes Star Wars.
Yes, that's right. Yes, it went because
Like old school Star Wars.
It's like a montage of like where he's going.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the white transition and like the
Square.
iris transition.
Yeah, yeah.
But like grainy, just like literally out of nowhere, and then that goes on for like 3 minutes, and then never again.
Never
Yeah,
again.
yes, they get rid of it completely as they're like they're building up, I think, suspense to the action.
Yeah, so then I guess he's at Central Park, and honestly, like, that was kind of a cool, I liked that little sequence where he's like, felt spooky, he's going into the woods, and there's like cat shadows running around, and I think that's when we got the cat shadows, maybe, that were like, gotta take him out,
Yeah.
it's just like,
Oh my God.
puppets.
One of the best quotes, I can't even wait for Top Dog to say it. One of them goes, the stouts squealed. I knew those mice were rats. And then the other one goes, the mouse is sleeping with the fishes. And I was just like, it's too much. It's too much.
Too crazy almost. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a chase scene.
Yeah.
It's like a car chase, but like there's cats.
Yeah.
And
He's in a little red car.
Yeah, he ends up in the sewer,
Mm-hmm.
comes out of the sewer, right? He gets
conveniently right where he needs to be.
Yes.
Right as
Snowball shows up, right?
Right. No, that's like as the family's leaving, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Which then I turned to Shannon. I think you were out of the room then. I turned to Shannon and I was like, "What if they hit him with their car right now?" That's something we had. But yeah, so he gets inside. Snowball's like, "Hey man, look,
They're so
they
happy
hate you.
You're gone. They're celebrating.
Yeah.
Look,
There's
remember
no
this
one
picture? Remember this picture we just took?
Yeah.
They cut your face out of it.
They did.
And the kid, they gave it to the kid, he ripped it up. And I can't even show you the pieces because Hugh Laurie burned it.
But that was actually a great moment. Like, that was like the one good, like, setup payoff
It was a
moment.
really good
Because they cut out the picture to use it for the reward, like the
Reward
missing
poster,
poster.
Yeah.
But what a great, like, that was
Twice.
the one good
Yeah.
storytelling thing where I was like, damn,
Yeah.
he did cut you out of the picture, but not because.
Then Stuart Little is really sad. He goes back to the park. He climbs up a tree and decides, I'm going to live in a bird's nest.
Yes.
And then, like, all the cats come after him again.
Yeah.
And they're like, we're going to eat him. And then Snowball decides, no.
I don't really know Snowbell's arc change, why it happens, but all of a sudden he feels. I think it's because he says, oh yeah, it's that moment where the kid's picking up the phone and like putting it back. Because he's like, and I'm not really sure what that was. My interpretation was like, he's hoping somebody will call.
I think he's waiting for someone to call.
Yeah, and so he keeps like, and the cat feels sad about that because he keeps doing that. And so then
So
the
he
cat's
goes to
like,
find him.
yeah, he
Got
goes to
it.
find him.
Yeah, so then he.
The cat is kind of all over the
The
place.
cat is, yeah, so then he's like trying to hide it from the other cats.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then there's like a little trick sequence.
And they're on the
where he breaks the branch and they all fall in the river and they're fine. They're just wet.
Yeah, and they just walk
cats
away.
hate water, so they're like, oh, I'm so wet.
Yeah.
And they give up.
Yeah, and then they go home and then hooray.
Yeah, the cat actors, I was like, they're doing a lot of good stunts.
Yeah.
They
Good
did a great
cat
job.
actor stunts here.
Yeah.
And there were a couple other insane quotes in the sequence as all the shenanigans are happening. Like, the cat says to Stuart, I lied. Welcome to Manhattan. And that took me out. And then the other one, when he said, pack up the pineapple, Stuart, the luau's over.
Yes.
Just like, huh? Like, so many one-liners that are just don't really make sense.
No.
Yeah, and then it ends, and there's a cover of Mambo No. 5
As there's a montage of brothers getting ready in the morning.
Yeah.
And then it ends with they fling the cat
out the window.
And then that's it.
And then the credits keep rolling.
And then there's a really emotional song that plays.
Yeah, it was a Celine Dion ballad.
Almost I think so.
Every song made the movie feel like a different genre.
Yeah. So that's the recap. Yeah.
That's the recap. I can't.
So this is a very long segment.
Yeah. Yeah, now we got our other segments. Top Dog. So any favorite, least favorite quotes or moments really stood out?
I mean, I think we covered them in the recap.
Yeah, what
I
did
said so many, but I still have more written down.
I wrote down when they were bringing Stuart Little home, they were like, you have a brother. His name is George. And then Stuart Little goes, what do I call him? And they go, George.
What? Moments like that, there's just this feel, was it, you were saying it feels like a ChatGPT script?
Yeah.
Yes, a little bit. That moment where
Why is this there?
he's figuring out what to call his mom and dad.
The cat said, how'd you like to rub it from the inside, mouse boy?
That one was,
Really
so much. And when they bring Stuart into that house for the first time, and the parents go, would you like a tour? And he says, I don't have any money.
Yes.
What was that?
And when the kid was like, I gotta wear my lucky underwear, and the dad goes, you don't have lucky underwear. Says, well, maybe we should get some and come back for another raise. And we all just went, what? Just things that feel like they don't add anything to the script at all, and it's just why is this here?
I don't know if it's a line, but I'd still call it a top dog moment where when after Snowbell eats Stuart Little the first time, Hugh Laurie picks up this cat. This very real cat.
That look.
And he's looking at this cat, and Liz just you cannot eat Stuart Little,
That's
and
the
he's
moment
shaking
I
him in
knew
midair.
this cat is the best part of the movie.
Yeah, because the cat has I'm not here
Such
around kind of energy
yeah.
in that monologue.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite moment, the shopping sequence was just, I didn't understand what was happening. That was something notable.
Yeah.
I mean, the 360 to the scream of I'm Stuart Little, really good.
Yeah.
That close-up of Smokey the cat at the end, towards the end with the chase.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Where the whole screen is his
Yeah,
face.
it might be the only extreme close-up, and they save it for the one
Yeah.
moment. Yes.
Yeah, I just can you imagine being a cinematographer and your camera is up close this close to a real cat, and you're trying to get the cat to look at you, and the cat's looking all over the place how cats do, and it's no. I would just love to be on a set with cats, because that feels not easy.
No.
That's what I want to work on, one of those Air Bud type movies. What was it, Pup Academy that we were watching?
Yeah.
Where the
But
entire
dogs,
cast
stuff.
is just animals.
Cats are really hard to get to.
And just a bunch of puppies. I'm gonna hang out with them.
That would be such a chill set, honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
let the
a lot
animal
of
wranglers
cleaning up
just-
piss. but
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
You're PAing. The only job is
you're
just
PA.
That was good.
It was not.
No, it was.
No,
It was
I'll back up.
I like
was
that
good.
one.
That was
Okay.
good.
Okay, speaking of animals,
But
best animal performances.
the cat was my top
Yeah.
dog of the whole movie.
Yeah, I think
Easily.
Snowball just
Every time he was on screen, everything he said had me dying.
Same.
Yeah.
I said, why are they gangsters? That was a question.
No.
Also,
Everything
why
was
did
so
the
weird.
why did the fake mom have those eyelashes?
There's so much.
They were so fake looking.
Very.
I mean, yeah, off of that too, the graphics. What do we think of the animation, CG?
Well, I was doing some research beforehand with Stuart Little.
Oh boy, she was
Again,
so
method viewing. But apparently this is like one of the first films to like have like a central protagonist be all CGI.
Interesting.
And I think for better and worse, it definitely showed. Yes.
It was a little inconsistent, I would say. Like there was the one cat, the neighbor cat, played by what's his name from White Lotus.
Oh yes,
Season, yeah.
Like whenever that cat talked, it looked worse than when the other cat talked. Cause like this one, like sometimes his like bottom like lip teeth area was like just bright green.
Yeah.
And it just felt like there was some sort of like keying thing that went wrong, and no one fixed it. Cause other times his mouth was not green, so it wasn't like a choice. It was just like the VFX got messed up.
Yeah, I mean that was a similar kind of thing with Stuart Little. Like when it was a close up, kind of bad and scary. But like when it was wider and it was like, sure, he's just like a little guy. The way he walks was really weird.
Yeah, they weren't doing a lot with like lighting on him or sound design. Like they just didn't really like. Whenever he was crawling around, it would be like it would have felt more real if they had kind of added a little more of a soundscape to like his movements and like his little scurrying. But it always just felt like he's sort of like floating in space.
A little bit. The lighting was always kind of just a little bit too off.
Yeah, sometimes he'd look like he was like
around.
The scene where the kid was holding him in his hand for the photo, and it literally looked like he was just floating.
Yeah.
Because they had a hard time getting him to like interact with like the live action stuff.
Yeah. Because I think the dad was wearing something super dark in the pants, very much blended into that.
Yeah. And then like sometimes they would CG the thing that he was interacting with, and then that would also look bad. Like when he was holding the remote, and then the remote was like also CG, but in some shots, and it also like did not look great.
But I do think the voice performances of Stuart Little was I think solid. I think it was solid. Yeah. Michael J. Fox did a good job on that one. Yeah. Definitely Snowball for me.
Snowball, that was the top dog, and I think that's Snowball. I mean, I thought the costume and like production design also pretty good.
Oh, that was my other one.
Yes.
Yeah, those were the other.
It's got to be
people that like did their job.
Yes, they. I mean, it looked like it was so much fun to just because it was such a colorful. Like I think you were saying Edward Scissorhands a lot.
Yeah.
Like very colorful, almost childlike, and.
Yeah, I thought it felt kind of like some of Matilda.
Yeah, it made it feel more like an actual movie that could have been like a good like cult classic kind of movie rather than just like this weird like relic of the 90s.
Yeah.
Like it gave it a little more like personality and like distinctive style and like this is what the world is.
Like it felt very hand built.
Yeah.
Like in a very strange way.
Next segment, perspective. So I mean, we've seen it as a kid. How does it live up to what you remember?
I mean, when I first saw it, like it definitely looked like it. Like I accepted it as a kid, very very overlit, and I think some of the stories. I think I was mentioning like some of the stories stuff. I forgot some stuff. Like I forgot the fake parents, but I remember the cats in the alley, and I remember like the boat sequence in particular, captured me as a kid. Definitely. As a cynical film student, it doesn't live up to those standards, but on like a yeah, it wouldn't be. But like as an 80, honestly, respect the hell out of this movie for being just 84 minutes in a year of 3-hour epics in 2023. It felt like that was a breath of fresh air. I didn't mind it. I thought it didn't age as poorly as I thought it might have. Yeah.
I also watched it. I feel like my grandparents this was one of the DVDs they had, so we watched it so much. But I didn't remember anything past like, he's Stuart Little and he goes on a boat. That was it. So like I didn't remember any of the cats. Like when the cats showed up, I was like, oh yeah, the cats. Or like when the fake parents showed up, I was like, yeah, the fake parents.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. I guess I really liked it, but I just watched it a lot, so I don't really remember what my take on it was as a kid. I feel like as a kid, most movies, I was just like, that's a movie.
Yeah.
Which isn't too much different than me now. I can't rate anything. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. That's a movie.
Yeah,
sure.
It's a movie. Yeah.
All right. There are very few things I'm like, I can't make it through this. But honestly, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah. definitely have been like more heartbroken with like different rewatches from childhood.
Yeah, of like the nostalgic
Yeah.
childhood watches that we watched for this, I feel like this one I enjoyed of like holding up more. I don't know, maybe just because
what was
like
the worst one for that?
I mean G-Force kind of sucked, but this one I'm like nostalgic, but I'm also it was good.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate it being on the background, you know. Like
I think it's just so everyone's taking everything so seriously.
Yeah.
Like it's not a comedy to any of the people in this movie.
No.
It's their real life, and everything is so put together.
Yeah.
Like visually, that's really fun.
Yeah, I could tell people cared about this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's enough people on the crew that I feel like they put their effort in.
Yeah.
It is fun to just see a movie that's just really ridiculous and like out there though,
Yeah.
because like, and with like actors that are like in some pretty big stuff at this time.
Yeah.
I mean, Gina Davis was in already some pretty big things.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like why
Michael
is
J.
she?
Fox was like
Michael J. Fox
coming
was-
off of
Yeah.
Back to the Future stuff.
It was like confusing that all of them were in this, but like they seemed committed to it, and
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Gina Davis posts a league of their own, which is like huge.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's peak Gina Davis.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this was her being here was contributing to feeling like Beetlejuice vibes.
Because one of the family members was also in
Mhm.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah. That and like the weird house and the miniatures set and like there's this little man and he does little stuff. I don't know. There was like some qualities that were just like this is the kooky kind of Tim Burton live action.
Yeah.
Like no one looks like this, no one dresses like this.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
This like, I feel like this is a movie that is one of the. I feel like Josh, in particular, will text me sometimes of like, "This is a movie I think you would make," and it's usually something that's like, "Ooh, family and kind of wholesome and for children," and like so silly, but it's like taking itself like it really cares.
Yes.
Where it's like, yeah, okay, I could see myself making something like this.
Yeah.
Where it's like visually pleasant, but also very wholesome. Like it's just like you get a warm feeling. You're like, yeah, aw.
I like
Little
weird
family.
creepy stuff. The things that like Daniel and I recommend to each other, it's always just like this movie me up. I texted him the other night at like 1 a.m. and I was like, "Have you seen Trouble Every Day by Claire Denis?" And he was like, "No, what's it about?" And I was like, vampire cannibalism sex, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll watch it."
Very different from
And like, yeah.
See, that's my vibe is, oh, they're family. It's so cute, and then I cry.
My vibe is like this movie almost made me throw up. I loved it.
What did I cry at the other day? Or I was like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles multiple times.
No, that would.
Where I was like,
feels with
oh
the
my
family
God,
stuff. Yeah.
the rat dad likes
Splinter is so
his
sad.
kids.
Yeah.
Like when the little turtles came and they were just little turtles.
I was
started crying.
like Splinter, you can do anything. You redeemed. These turtles
Yeah.
are so cute.
They were so cute before they turned into like human turtles.
Yeah.
When they were like,
And they were like, wow. And they were like, they went up and they walked.
yes, but the end when I was like, oh, they're a family. I gotta make a list of just movies like that I just cried at.
My list
Because
is
there's
one movie.
Because the same thing of like when we were watching Shaun the Sheep, and I was like, oh my God, the sheep family, they're singing a song. Oh well, okay. So Shannon, what did you think compared to like what you thought it was gonna be versus?
Yeah, I would say like
what it is.
Watching it for the first time now as an adult, like I was kind of like, this is crazy that this is like such a part of the cultural canon, and like everyone looks back at this as like, oh, great movie from my childhood, because like there are some things that are just so insane, and it doesn't feel like a real movie, which is fun. I wasn't like mad about it. It was just like, it's crazy that this is such like a big movie that everyone knows, but it's like this off the wall.
Yeah.
Like, and like the cat mafia being like a major plot. Like,
I mean, I feel like all childhood movies look at them like this is part of the vein of like the B movie.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought you were gonna say, I feel like all children's movies have some sort of Godfather mafia.
That is kind of what
That's where you're going.
because it keeps happening.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird.
Yeah. Did neither of you had read the book, right?
Of The Godfather?
Yeah.
No, not
The
Red
source
Stewart.
material.
Yeah, the
The
source
source
material.
material.
No, the Stuart Little book.
Yeah.
I did, but
I can't remember if I did, but I don't think so. I think I just read
pretty
other stuff.
sure he's just like a mouse that is like a man, He's not like a child. He's more like an adult.
Oh,
And he's
interesting.
just like out in the marshes and like gotta build the boat.
Which is such a that sounds like such a dour version of like a David Fincher made version.
It's way
of
more
like
like an
Stuart
animal.
Little.
It's it's less like, oh, I have a family. It's more like I'm an animal surviving. But I'm a man and I have clothes.
I am sad that we haven't been able to watch Noah's version yet.
I know.
Because I know I mentioned in the last episode that we were going to get to react to it, but
At some
the little
point.
trailer for it was...
The trailer was insane. I'll promise whoever
Yeah.
the listeners. Yeah.
Avi
Noah
keeps sending me
is-
just like clips on Instagram that we should react to. He's like, just make like a TikTok of you
I
guys
wanna-
reacting to like, and it's like a
Yeah,
raccoon doing something.
That sounds
And it's like 5 seconds long.
Very
Has
fun.
Evie White written anything that's not an animal?
I feel like that was kind of his niche, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because he did Charlotte's Web,
Yeah.
and he did.
Google him. Wait, okay, he co-wrote a collection of essays that form a book that is a spoof of Freudian sexual theory.
What?
What?
I don't know. That's like the third book
Wild.
that came up under his name, and it's called "Is Sex Necessary or Why You Feel the Way You Do?" A collection of essays written by E.B. White and James Thurber, first published in 1929. It is a spoof of the many popular books on Freudian sexual theories published in the 1920s.
That is wild.
I mean, the
That's-
title is. It's got a point.
Yeah. It looks like that came very early on in his career before he got
Wasn't
into-
he a Cornell guy?
Was he?
For some reason, I'm thinking.
Maybe he was.
But it could be.
I mean, are you
that I'm
thinking of
the
E.D. White?
No, you're right. He was he graduated from Cornell, Bachelor of Arts, 1921, was elected to Phi Beta Kappa.
Wild.
Yeah.
Stuart Little has Cornell to thank.
Yeah.
His nickname was Andy. Apparently, and tell me if this is right from Cornell folks.
We
he
know
got,
everything about
All I
Cornell.
know
He got-
is that chicken nuggets were invented by a Cornell person.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
It's true, and we had Bill Nye.
Wait, I must know if this is true. He got a nickname Andy at Cornell, where tradition confers that moniker on any male student whose surname is White, which is a thing after Cornell's co-founder.
Oh yeah, so
I
it
can
is.
see that. Yeah, A.D. White must be
I
Andrew
guess I didn't know
something.
anyone with the last name White. Andrew
Alright.
Dixon White. Yeah.
Yes.
That's interesting. I feel like that's not a tradition that's still there, but I can see that being a thing when you're like bored and it's the 50s
Yeah.
and there's not a lot
Or the
else.
20s.
The 20s, yeah.
20s, yeah.
Yeah,
That's funny.
that does feel like an old like
Old Cornell.
Very old Cornell. Yeah.
a bunch of just like really preppy.
White
That'd be so
guys.
White
guys
Like,
sitting
you're
around.
Andy. No, you're Andy. No, you're Andy.
But then it's like everyone who
Yeah,
already
white
has the same
guys
last
in
name.
2 senses.
Yes.
But then it was like everyone who already was probably getting mixed up with each other because they have the same last name. It's like you also now have the same first name.
Yeah.
You also have the same name. Have fun.
Could have been us.
Yeah. We were almost both named Shannon.
Yeah.
Which would have been so fun for the
You
podcast.
two come from like the same pot. Like I feel like you definitely
It's
do.
weird.
That's so wild.
And guess why her parents didn't name her Shannon?
Wow.
It's too Irish. And Shannon's parents went, man.
Yeah.
My
That's
Puerto
good.
Rican father went Shannon Kira O'Shea. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not gonna confuse anybody.
Alright, where were we?
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Don't stop the music.
Oh,
Any music
brother.
thoughts?
I have
Wow.
so many.
I mean, I was just not too. I was trying to figure out because like the soundtrack was very like whimsical and it felt very 2000 kids like.
It reminded me of bits of it reminded me of Home Alone, and bits of it sounded like what's the Rhapsody in Blue? Is that the that long? That's not jazz, but it's like
sort of.
kind of.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
I feel like there were bits that were like that.
That definitely
Yeah,
composed
it
by.
Was it? Wasn't it? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what I looked it up.
It was just very like especially in the beginning and ends, like credits and like opening and closing sequences, things were very inconsistent, and like everything in like the end credits just felt like it was from like 3 different movies.
Yes.
But like the regular score was like fine. This is like a fine normal
Yeah.
movie score. It's getting the job done. But whenever they would pick a song that wasn't composed for the movie, it was like, this is a weird choice.
Very weird.
I was
song.
wondering if the like opening credit song was for the movie because there was a lot of like, he's a little guy, he's taking on the world.
It kind of felt like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost to the end of our segments. Who? So if you were recasting anyone, if you like really hated a character, you want to get rid of them, or add in a new character, or we've kind of explained this to, you know, if you were to remake this, if you were to do a sequel. Give us some pitches.
I would put Steve Buscemi as one of the animal voices, because like his character in like G-Force, like
Steve Buscemi is like one of the cats.
Is he actually?
No, I feel like
that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like I think he would do like a fun little bit with it. Like he would fit right into this. That's
He was the one we also wanted in Shark Tale.
It's usually
Steve
Buscemi. Because he has such a distinctive voice
He
and
does.
face, but it's fun when he's voice acting because it's just like, oh man, that's Steve Buscemi.
We thought it could have been who do we think was Christopher Walken at first?
Oh,
yeah, one of the cats sounded
could have been
Christopher
Walken.
Should have fit in with the King of New York vibe.
Okay, my pitches. These are dumb ones. Okay. Mike Myers doing the Shrek voice as Stuart Little.
Shrek Little.
Shrek Little.
Why? What led you to this?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I just wrote it down and I don't really remember why. I think because I was like, Michael J. Fox, Michael Myers. Okay, and then I also thought John Mulaney as either Stuart Little or the dad. I think he could do either.
It might have been a little too much.
Yeah, it would be kind of silly.
Funny. Yeah. Because I feel like it worked because only the cats were really going like over the top, you know?
Yeah.
But maybe he could do it.
We kept talking about a gritty remake where he's like either getting revenge or they talked about like you know, maybe there's the kidnappers with like a spree of mouse murders. And it's like, what if it's a serial killer?
Yeah.
I feel like Jeremy Allen White from The Bear as that gritty Stuart Little. He's like going through some stuff. He's like in and out of seedy motels and there's trash on the streets.
He's had a really dark past, like a dramatic past. Yeah.
Like the whole family gets killed and they only don't kill him because he's a mouse and they don't see him.
Yeah.
And now
he's coming for those cats.
Yeah, I would watch it.
Another remake is you could go kind of like a Meet the Fockers vibe where it's like R-rated comedy where it's like maybe Stuart Little has a human girlfriend now and he's being introduced to her family. Or it's a little bit of because there were a little bit of like some racial undertones that we could see here. Like, what's the one with Sidney Poitier?
Oh,
I guess it's that, but it's Stuart Little. Like a shot-for-shot remake of that, but it's just Stuart Little.
Oh my God.
That's an idea. I also thought we could go in a Social Network vibe. Where, because the sailing scene made me think of the rowing ones where it's two army hammers rowing, and it's really intense.
Yeah. So
you go like that, so you go even serious, or you just put Stuart Little into Social Network, and it's the same movie, but instead of two army hammers, it's either one army hammer and Stuart Little, and they're identical twins, and you don't. Like, what's that movie where,
like the Danny DeVito one?
Yeah, Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger are twins. It's that, but like, just Social Network.
And it's the same vibe of like, and what about it?
And what about it?
You're gonna say something about me and my twin?
Yeah,
Nothing
and so
is
it's
wrong.
like Stuart Little's suing
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, so those are all my ideas. And then, because we did say the doctor, who like barely pops up, looks a little bit like Dr. Phil. Just make it Dr. Phil. And he's there for 30 seconds.
30 seconds.
Yeah. A fun cameo.
Very fun
He would do it.
Anyone else have any ideas?
I'm trying to think. I didn't have too many like nothing bad.
You weren't sitting there the whole time coming up with.
I thought about the extended family a little. I was like, you can make that just a lot more fun. Like I bet like everybody like you get like the Adam Sandler, like sort of a group of comedian friends, and it doesn't have to be Adam Sandler, but like
the whole family is Adam Sandler.
Or it's like, what if they did like they had like a full season cast of SNL just together as the extended family, and they never addressed it.
Yeah.
Just something weird like that, where it's like, I guess it makes sense that they all got each other to be here, but not
yeah, for like a day.
If Stuart Little was an SNL cast member, I'd like real SNL. But no, not that somebody's playing. It's like we take.
Oh, if he
Little,
was on SNL.
and he's on SNL now in
He
like
hosts
real
it,
life.
and then-
Yeah. Not even hosting it. He's a cast member.
So they have one mouse sketch every SNL.
Or they
not.
don't.
Or
Or
they-
never talked to.
Or he'll host Weekend Update, and it's like, hey.
Yeah.
What's next?
Okay, train. Where would we put the train? There
Okay,
was a train.
yeah.
There was train for
So
that.
do we need another train? Do we like the train in it?
I
Thoughts
mean,
on trains?
the train was like
I
a
like
playful moment. I don't know if you wanted to
Yeah.
introduce a train. It'd be interesting if it wasn't water. You know, if like they recalled that moment back, like as like the cats are at the train and they're like trying to hold down Stuart Little, and Snowball has to come in and like save
They
him.
should have done more because they did the whole like bit of the like standoff where he's like a Western guy. This doesn't have anything to do with the train really. But like, what if that was more? The cats were more of a standoff somehow.
Like old Western town.
Yeah.
Like the
Kick
like,
down the doors of
vigilante
the.
cowboys.
Yeah, kind
Kick
of
down
like
the doors of the saloon. And the cats are
Once
there.
Upon a Time in the West. They're just rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The train.
What if the parents took a train to go to the orphanage? What if like the orphanage was like in the mountains?
What if the orphanage was on a
This
train?
is literally every time we do this segment. It's just like, but what if they were on a train?
Yeah. No,
We
honestly,
say the same
a
thing.
moving orphanage on a train.
What if?
What if the orphanage?
It's like every city it stops in. It's like those isn't that a thing with like dogs? Like there's like different travel like dog adoption.
I think so.
Oh, I
I
know.
think
It's
so.
like an orphanage. The orphanage stops in each city and you come and get your kids.
I could see that. I could see that just a little bit. I wonder if there's one from Ice.
To adopt.
Yeah, to like
I'm
that's
gonna
like
take a wild
expansion.
guess and say no.
No, but like for like a sequel, you know, like what if they introduce it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a solid train that was in this.
I think it was too.
I think-
the way that he tied himself up with his tail, I think
Tail.
that was clever.
Yeah, it was a very cute character moment. Like I was like, yeah.
We're satisfied with the current.
I'm
train.
satisfied with the current train.
Yeah.
Me too. Yes.
Okay, rating. We're rating this. How many paws out of 4?
It was good. Like, are we allowed to cut paws in half?
Oh, yeah.
okay. So
There are
like,
no rules.
Yeah,
You
there
haven't
are
picked
rules.
up on that.
it's like 2.5 paws. You know, like I'm not. I think there's maybe 3. Like there's some.
I was going at least 3.
I was gonna go with 3 because there were some
Yeah.
heartwarming moments, and there were moments that
Yeah.
didn't work at all, but in a way that like I was like, yeah.
Nothing
more-
bugged me. Nothing was
Yeah.
like slowing me down. I was like,
I don't know why I enjoyed this more than other ones. Like, I have no idea why I like the things I do. I was
This
just
is
like,
great. I had
yeah, I
think
liked
it just
it.
worked. Yeah.
I think it was the wholesome energy.
Yeah.
that I enjoyed. Yeah. Okay, well that was ratings. So now it's time for yay or nay.
Yay or
So
nay.
we're gonna hand it over to you.
Yes. So I did some research ahead of time. I have some questions.
Ready.
So
All right.
exciting. Most
All right.
exciting segment.
Let's do it. All right. So first yay or nay. Stuart Little was the highest grossing film at the domestic box office the weekend it premiered.
I think it's no, and I want to try to guess what was.
What was?
I feel like it's gonna be something crazy. I don't remember what.
The release date was December 17th, 1999 for folks at home.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say nay. Like maybe there was like a really big Christmas movie that came out.
I'm also gonna say nay. I don't know what it is, but I think it's something random.
I wouldn't be shocked if it was yay. 'Cause I feel like it's like
Yeah.
a family movie while the kids are
Yeah.
in for Christmas break
Yeah.
or whatever.
So
So we're on nay.
nay is final answer.
Yeah.
It is a yay.
Wow.
It was number 1. Number 2 is The Green Mile, with Tom Hanks, very sad movie.
Alright.
Number 3 was Toy Story 2.
Oh,
yeah.
below or above Toy Story 2?
I guess Toy Story 2
Yes.
probably came
That was
out.
probably
It came out in
okay.
November,
Yeah.
so it was like,
'Cause they do the
Hanging in there.
Yeah.
sort of the Thanksgiving
Yeah.
releases.
yeah. But yes, highest grossing movie at the box office in late December, which is crazy.
That
Um,
is.
Another numbers, yay or nay.
Okay.
The budget of Stuart Little was less than $100 million. Yay or nay?
I'm gonna go with nay because I think doing CG before they really knew how to do CG was probably really expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say that.
Lock it
it's
in.
nay.
Nay.
Yeah.
Very correct.
Mhm.
The budget is somewhere between 108 to 135 million, and
Wow.
movie ended up making 300 million
Mm.
off of that. So
Good for them.
Yeah.
yes. Mice question.
Yay.
Mice are social creatures. True or false?
Yes, that's true.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel like that was a very easy one. But
I
yes.
feel like I know a weird amount about mice from all the psych courses I took. They're always doing mice.
Yeah, they're always using
They're
them.
always doing mice things. There's that one mice like to have fun more than they like drugs. So there's that one
Mice
study
don't need drugs to have
where they put like some mice with like, I don't think it was heroin, but it was like mouse heroin, and they were like, this is really great. They loved the mice heroin.
Yeah.
And then there was mice that had like a jungle gym, and or maybe it was just like they like space too and things to do.
Yeah.
And so like, if there was the jungle gym and mice heroin, they didn't care about the mice heroin. They're like, I'm having a good enough time on my own. That's the one I remember.
I remember one in my psych class where it was like they gave the mice sugar and then they gave one mice not sugar, like over the course, and they had the mice like in water try to get to like this small safe
Yeah.
space, and the one with the sugar could not find its way to like the little treat on like this buoy in the middle of
One
the
of
state.
my professors shot mice into space.
Whoa.
That was
What?
he like did a whole like lesson on it, and he was like, yeah, I worked with NASA and we like shot some mice into space, and it was to see if something with like development, if like the ability to like right yourself, if like mice get pushed over, can
Yeah.
they stand back up? If you don't have that like sense of gravity, like is that nature or nurture, and like are you learning that while you're like in utero?
Oh,
And so it was like mice in zero gravity, if they're
Yeah.
born and like in zero gravity, can they figure it out? And they can't. So that's like that. I think it was the like, oh, you can learn, and like there are things that you learn like that
Yeah.
before you're born.
Interesting.
What was
They
that
shot
one
some
that was
mice
like
into space.
they gave rats cocaine, and then the rats that were on cocaine really liked listening to like slow jazz.
That's good.
I dig those mice. It's like music taste, so it's good. All right, next one.
Yeah.
All right, Stuart Little has 0 Oscar nominations. Yay or nay?
I'm gonna go with nay. I feel like I had like 1 or 2.
I think it got nominated for Best Picture and Best Adapted Screenplay. Those are my guesses.
Okay, so is it a
So
nay?
I'm gonna
Has
go with
zero.
yeah,
nay.
so nay.
I
It
feel
has
like it
some.
got like, I don't know.
Which
Visual
one?
effects feels like a stretch, but maybe in 1999.
Yeah, it's nay. So it does have it has 1 Oscar nomination, Best Visual Effects, lost to The Matrix.
Well, yeah.
Man,
Starring
it didn't.
Stewart.
It wasn't nominated for Best Picture.
No,
That's-
I think that was a real tragedy, travesty.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna these next few kind of dig into very very interesting territory. So,
Scared.
Stuart Little is based on a book. Yay or nay? The author says the idea for Stuart Little came to him in a dream.
I'll go with yay, because I feel like you're about to give us a real weird story. And I've also said nay for every question so far.
I'm gonna say it didn't come to him in a dream. It came to him as like something in real life happened that inspired it. That's my
Final answer?
yeah.
It is a yay. the author says it was very much more in that though man rat form. Like it was a man that was just a rat rather than like a.
Remember that whole thing on when the rat from Arthur got married, and everyone was like really worked up about the gay rat wedding.
Yeah, gay rat wedding. Yeah. I forgot about that.
Alright, next one. Stuart Little's clothes are styled after the director's own childhood clothing sense of clothing style.
Yeah, I bet.
The
Yeah.
director was just a weird kid.
Weird
I'll
kid.
go with you.
Yeah, that would be a nay. Nay. It was based on apparently much of the inspiration was Tim Burton in animation. So
That makes sense.
yes.
I thought that was gonna be what was it? I think when Jillian and I watched Fantastic Mr. Fox, we learned that they got samples from Wes Anderson's Taylor
Did they?
for like a bunch of the clothes.
That's so strange. Interesting. Alright, next question. The production designer unknowingly included a long lost painting in the movie as a set decoration. True or
I
false?
hope
Yay
so.
or-
That sounds
That
very
feels
fun.
too random for you to
Yeah.
made up.
I like that. Yay.
So I'm gonna go with yay.
So they did.
Yay. Yeah, it is a yay. I thought that was such a.
That is.
Yeah. Apparently, an art historian was watching it in 2009 with his daughter, and it's like a long lost avant-garde Hungarian like painting.
Where did they find it?
That they were watching the movie, and apparently they bought it for like $500 for the set because it's like a painting, and then it sold in auction for $200,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So
interesting.
art history. Thank you, Stuart Little. And yeah, that's pretty much all I had.
Well, I guess we made it to the end here.
Yeah.
Let's have the
Grand finale. Final thoughts? Do we recommend?
Yeah, recommend
Yeah.
Stuart
I
Little.
would
for
recommend
sure.
it, even if you're an adult and you haven't seen it.
Yeah,
You might have fun.
genuinely could say that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's silly. It's goofy.
I feel like that could be the format of our podcast if we wanted to. Is like someone who's seen all the kids' movies, showing them to someone who never saw any of them. Like, that's kind of
That's almost what it is.
It's
Yeah.
like every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Well,
a
we
good time.
recommend
Check it out.
check it out. Follow us on Instagram.
At
Pawlywood
Pawlywood
Pawdcast.
Do you have anything you
Yeah.
want
Anything
to
you want to
plug?
plug?
Nah, I'm just
Any
working on.
socials?
You
Any
can plug
social?
Your
Oh.
own. Yeah.
Yeah, I do
yourself.
have my own social. Rohan, but like zeros instead of for the Roros.
But yes, thank you
That's
for
your little.
stopping
Oh,
by.
closing out.
Oh.
Mice noises.
Oh, God.
That's how we're.
This is becoming our new outro.
Our
Yeah.
outro is you gotta make the noise of the animal. We just go around. Yeah. So we'll let you start off as the guest.
Lucky
Oh,
you.
okay. Like
Oh,
like sort of
yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I
pretty
like
good.
I need to cheese it. Yeah.
I was thinking about like a
I was trying
sweet
to-
one.
Oh, I didn't.
Maybe.
Alright, I'll take a cheese it.
I feel like, yeah, give me a cheese it too for the. To really go method.
Method watching.
I feel like it's gotta be a little more squeaky.
Objectively, our most cursed intro or outro has to be like Avi lying on the floor under the table, right?
Yeah.
I mean that's hard to top. That's really good.
I just ate the cheese and forgot I was gonna do it.
Yeah, they.
Your turn.
Your turn.
I don't know how to like make a squeak. Yeah, I guess it is.
That's good. Mmm. That's
Yeah,
more squeaky.
There's my squeak.
Here we go.
There we go.
Mouse and mouse noises.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
tuning in.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yes,
for
suggesting
thanks for
us
having
this
me on.
movie.
Good suggestion.
Appreciate it.
You
You
know,
are
anyone
welcome
else?
back whenever if there's
Yeah.
anything else you want to watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do we have next on the slate? I don't know if we have an exact order.
I don't
We have
know.
some-
At some
probably
point,
Meg 2.
Meg 2 will probably happen.
Soon. And then
Yeah.
Strays.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then Halloween.
Halloween.
Which will probably start in like September because
Yeah.
I'm so excited for it. I can't wait for Halloween. Everything is already Halloween in the stores. I am Halloween. I've decided soon it's starting. Well,
But
there's another episode.
That's been
yeah, we did
That's
it.
been Stuart Little. It has.
Okay. We did it.
Bye.
Bye.